this would be a good time for some people who are new, perhaps, don't know the story, have heard things from other channels or something like that. I've had some people really say some really nasty things about me, and I'd like to clear the air on that one. So if you heard some nasty things, yeah, those people can go get stuffed. But the reality of the situation. So, and I've been slow walking this one. I'm going to make a video about it. It's just it's a ways away. So that's the problem. Is like, okay, well, it's not happening yet. So, yeah, I might as well explain it. So we're going on about a year now since we were evicted from our place. So we were evicted from our place in our beautiful little town in British Columbia. So here's how it went. Here's how things went. Everything was hunky-dory. Everything was great. And we were feeling pretty comfortable. We'd been in a rental in our town because the housing bubble has made it so we couldn't afford to get into anything. So we lived in a rental. It was a townhouse. And we're talking like 3-bedroom, 2 bathroom and a half, right? 3-bedroom, bath and a half. So a bathroom and a water closet downstairs with a garage. I had my studio in the garage, built all that. We were there for 11 years. So we were feeling pretty comfortable. And we were about to go on a trip to Japan because my wife is from Japan, and we go periodically to Japan. And we do it as often as we possibly can, so the kids can see their mother-in-law or my mother-in-law, their grandmother, and you know, we have family, so that's an important thing. And obviously, I like to go because I have friends there. We used to live there. We lived there for 3 years. Wow, a very long time ago. Came back in 2011. So yeah, we lived there, and we were about to leave. We were about to go on a 3-week trip to Japan, and I got a phone call from the landlord. I'm moving back into my place. You guys got to get out in 2 months. What happened? He's just I broke up with my old lady. I gotta move back into my house. You gotta get out. I said, was there anything we can do? Could we put you up for a period of time so that it gives us a longer period to figure out what we're gotta do? Is there anything we're planning? Nobody has a lease after 11 years. It's always just month to month. That's how that works. So yeah, we were given 2 months, and it was no negotiations on that. And later on, I did some research, and I found out that the law had changed. If he would have given us notice a month later, the law changed, and he would have had to give us 4 months notice. So he made sure to get it in before that date that it changed. And the other provision in that was he'd have to actually live in the place for a year if he had waited. But this way, he only had to live in the place for 6 months before re-renting it out. So he kicked us out. And I said, listen, we're leaving for Japan for 3 weeks. We won't be back. That gives us only 5 weeks to move out. Like, is there any way you can give us more time? My hands are tied. Sorry, I can't do it. I need to move back into the house. Okay. I mean, once a notice is been drawn, and an eviction notice, and you have to presume that it's with good cause, right? It's with cause. So, and the cause was he was moving back in, which is really the only thing you could do, unless, you know, if you want to just rent it out after 6 months, which we'll get there. If he wanted to sell it, he could sell it, but he'd have to keep us as tenants and all of this stuff. So it's the only thing. No lease agreement. We had an initial lease agreement, but in British Columbia, once the lease agreement expires, then you just go on what's called a month-to-month basis. A lease agreement only protects the landlord. It doesn't protect the tenants. The Landlord-Tenant Act protects the tenants. So that's how it works. So we were given the official notice we had to leave within 2 months, but we went to Japan for 3 weeks. So we got back, and then we were pressed for time. We had to get everything out, figure out our life. And we're like, well, what are we going to do? We looked around and we're like, it's everywhere we go is like way more expensive. It's crazy expensive, like 3 times the price expensive. 3 months notice in BC now. We're talking a year ago. It was only 2 months. So the law switched to 4 months, and then after a short period, they actually reeled it back to 3 months. That's where it is now. 30 days notice in the United States. Again, with cause. So this is how contracts work. This is a contractual thing. So contractual stuff works in this way. So anyway, we got kicked out, and then of course I kept an eye on the place. I want to make sure that he's doing it legitimately. If we had to go through all of that, he's not pulling a fast one on us. But immediately we're like, we have to figure something else out. So we have to at least get a temporary place. We got a spot with some friends that put us up with for a couple of months, and then we had to find the place that we're in now, which is much smaller because we had a 3-bedroom townhouse before, and now we've had to scale down to a 2-bedroom apartment, which is a temporary measure until we can move to a new town. And we started shopping for a new town immediately. What is the new town? Where are we going to go? And we looked around. All over Canada is in the same situation. It's just all over is just overly priced, crazy, and it's insane. And then we also looked at the situation and said, well, if I'm an American citizen and Canada is insane like this, and if we have to move towns because our town we can't afford anymore. It's gone crazy. So what's the difference between moving 30 kilometers and moving 3,000 kilometers? There's really no difference. So why don't we pick a new place? And so we looked at it and we were like, if we move to America, we're going to move to one of the freest places. So it was like Florida or Texas. We looked at that. Jumped all over the place. Boop, 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 boop. Are we going to go here? We're going to go there. Landed on Texas. So we're going to move to Texas. But there's a big but there. My wife's a Japanese national with Canadian permanent residence. She doesn't have a green card to live in America. So now we're in limbo until she can get her green card. And this is the reason why we're living in this little tiny place and cramped. This is the whole thing. So our rent went up by $20,000 last year. Our place, our living quarters are less than half that what we used to have. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. So when people are shit talking and they're saying stuff like Clyde's a traitor, he's leaving his country, he's doing all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Just remember that it was Canadians that put me in this situation, my landlord, the town, the whole situation. And of course, you guys aren't to blame for any of this stuff. But as a father, as a husband, I have to do what's best for my kids. When we went from paying 16 to 36,000 a year, it's absolutely insane. So yeah, I don't take that lightly when people start throwing out stuff like that. So keeping my calm on that one, but I definitely feel for the people who are in a situation like mine and have to move to another expensive place and do all the things, drop their job, take their kids out of school, leave all their friends behind and move to another place that may end up just as expensive and the food cost is just as much and all that other stuff. But yeah, this is the situation we've been in, and that's the thing. This was a clip from the Friday night live stream. It's a community event that we do every Friday at 9:30 Eastern time. That's 6:30 Pacific. If you want to watch the whole video, the link will be down in the description down below. If you want to catch it live, make sure you hit that notification bell with the subscription to the channel. It'll remind you when we go live at the time. We'll see you then. Keep on trucking.